This is the biggest story unfolding before their eyes.
Surrounded by friggin' UFOs.
Of a UFO battle in orbit around Earth.
I believe that's 0428.
I can see it spinning around, and I wouldn't bet my life on it being the S4B, but it sure's got to be something like it.
That was Gene Cernan reporting that sighting.
Secret Space UFOs Apollo 1 to 11. This is a documentary filmed by a producer named Darcy Weirs, who's best known for Beyond the Spectrum, Being Taken, and The Underground. He's a renowned UFO documentarian and has a bright future in the documentary field. We're going to go through some of the highlights of this documentary and go through reasons why you should watch it. So firstly, my favourite thing about this documentary is the abundance of UFO footage. There's so much in this documentary, it's unbelievable. And something also to keep in mind is that CGI was not around at this time that most of this photography and videography was taken. It also shows periodically that at the time of the Apollo 1 taking off, there was a massive amount of sightings of the phenomenon on Earth. Was there a connection there? There's also great explanations in this documentary about debunkers and their stupid questions they compare with their closed-minded reality or perception of reality in affirmation to the phenomenon. Darcy Weirs breaks it down in this clip.
Many skeptics and debunkers will remark on the fact that mainstream media was not reporting on UFOs, anomalies, and structures being witnessed by astronauts during the Apollo manned missions. And the simple reason why mainstream media wasn't exposed to this back in the 1960s and 70s during the Apollo missions is because that information was deeply classified. In fact, the DSEA tapes weren't actually declassified till 12 years after these Apollo manned missions. And additionally, we didn't have photography and film fully examined by many of the UFO researchers and independent researchers like Luna Cognita until many years after.
How can they keep the secret? Some of these SETI people like really just make me laugh. I've heard some pretty stupid comments coming out of these mouths. Like this assumption that, oh yeah, the press, the media wants this scoop. Well, the media doesn't want that scoop because they're not authorized to give it, and they won't give it because the intelligence community will tell them what they can give. And NASA doesn't want this scoop. And I don't care what these SETI people like to tell the public. They don't want that scoop.
Also, this documentary features major players in the UFO research category. This guy's name is Richard Dolan. For over 20 years, Richard Dolan has been one of the best-known UFO researchers in the world. He's an author of several groundbreaking books in the field, opening up fresh ways of understanding his perplexing understanding of the subject. He's done multiple volumes about national security as well, and the government cover-up, and he's also a co-author of the classic book After Disclosure.
You know, why would that be the most sensitive subject if it was all nonsense and hallucinations and hoaxes and things like this, you know? Well, obviously, it's a lot more than that. And when you go through the declassified literature, such that we have, there's still a lot we don't have, but we have enough to show very, very clearly.
Now, there's a whole cover-up behind what happened before the takeoff of the Apollo flights and the communication barrier and pre-organisation of communication and what was live-streamed on TV. But you can see the astronauts are trying to freely speak, but they're also holding back things in different ways. As they state, no one will believe us. What were they seeing up there? Well, the footage tells all. I think it's unbelievable that even though the astronauts are up in space when their life is at risk and they're still worried about ridicule back home on Earth. And also I think what the Apollo 1 to 11 documentary shows also is that our Earth is sitting on a solar highway and there's unidentified flying objects or traffic running throughout our solar system constantly. We're so far behind with our evolution that we don't even conceptualize that we're just in the middle of this highway and there's objects all around our atmosphere of our Earth. Maybe that's what NASA discovered, and maybe that's why we never went back, because what we discovered was too unbelievable to understand. So here we have obvious UFOs. This is captured by a telescope of a UFO flying along the surface at thousands of miles an hour. On the second one, these are original photos. You can find them on the NASA website. I've featured them on previous episodes on my YouTube channel, Aussie UFO News. And they're original chest camera mounted photos that were taken by Apollo astronauts of these objects they were obviously searching for. These were in the later Apollo missions, which I believe were to recover unknown artifacts or take photos of unknown things. And then we have these absolutely massive UFOs in the background out of the documentary Apollo 1 to 11 that are obviously machine craft. There is no way they are debris in the sky, in the atmosphere. They even look like they're sitting there watching the astronauts.
One volcano or whatever it was, it was all white on the outside, but definitely black around the top of it.
And in my all-round summary and hypothesis about this subject, as complex and unimaginable as it is that I do really think the main reasoning for secrecy of this subject beyond top secret is because of the technology and power, as this former astronaut explains, which is the military-industrial complex, media-industrial complex, all these energy companies, narcotics companies, all the high powers of the higher society are involved in this cover-up of this subject to keep us using outdated technology to basically keep a hold on society and keep it running the way it is, because that's what's pushing our economy at the moment. Once this free zero-point energy technology is discovered, or anti-gravitic technology is discovered, maybe that might change everything and our economy might crash. Who knows? But it definitely will change the social structure. And that's what I think our governments are most scared of, or I know our governments are most scared of. That is the main reasonings for the cover-up of the UFO, UAP subject. So I definitely thoroughly believe you should watch this documentary, Secret Space UFOs Apollo 1 to 11, made by Darcy Weirs. It's an amazing look into what might have actually been behind these Apollo missions. And maybe we found something that they did not want to find. Please give my Instagram a follow as well, Aussie UFO News, and please hit the subscribe button and like my videos, share them to your friends. Happy New Year.